This week, my brother builds a unique cabinet for his 3D printing setup.
Then we get to meet Pierre from the Swedish Maker. But first, it's time for a maker break. Hey guys, welcome back to Maker Break, where we share our favorite maker videos of the week and then challenge ourselves to build a project of our own. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Rob, and this week my brother asked to borrow our shop to build a unique cabinet.
And we said yes.
Yeah, as long as we could watch. Here's how it went. So my brother Jeff is a maker. He's a woodworker, a builder, and last year he dove headfirst into 3D printing. So when he asked me if he could use our shop to build a dehumidifying cabinet for his 3D printer filament, I of course said yes, but only as long as he let me film it. He started with a sheet of 3/4 inch birch plywood that he cut into panels for the cabinet, including a divider that will allow him to maintain 2 different levels of humidity for storage. The cabinet wouldn't need to support much weight, so he assembled it mostly with glue and brad nails that held it together until it dried. The front has 2 doors with plexiglass that he framed out with half-lap joints. To embed the plexiglass, he used a router to cut out a rabbet on the back side of each frame. After filling the holes left by the brad nails, he stained the frames and outside of the cabinet almost black while leaving the inside natural for a nice contrast. The purpose of this cabinet is to store his 3D printed filaments along with a bunch of these moisture absorbing beads until he gets it to an ideal storing level. But to get the filament down to his printer, he drilled holes for running it through tubes into another box with his printer inside. To support the rolls of filament, he 3D printed these stands that hold bearings, making it spin nice and smooth. They mount on these 2 steel rods that will suspend it over the tray of beads. Now, he originally planned to hold the front panels on with magnets, but that didn't really work. After applying some weather seal, the magnets just wouldn't hold. So instead he decided to use a few hinges. Finally, he drilled a couple holes in the plexiglass to mount his humidity sensors with a bit of my help. If I was really any help, we'll never know. After adding a few LED strips and mounting it to his wall, he was ready for action. He can now store 10 different spools of filament, use the beads to control moisture, and pull it directly into the 3D printer whenever he needs it. He said it's working really well so far, and it looks pretty good too. Now I know some of you guys are going to ask for plans, so I got him to at least commit to posting a parts list, which I'll share in the description as soon as I get it. Maybe if you ask nicely enough in the comments, we can get him to post a set of plans. So Jeff is an avid 3D printer enthusiast, and he's helped us with several unique projects we're currently working on, so we were more than happy to loan him our shop.
That cabinet was cool. Is the filament sealed up the entire process?
So yeah, that's what was happening there, if I didn't make that super clear, is that because it's got to be humidity controlled, all of his filament stays in that humidity controlled cabinet until he needs it, when it gets pulled right down through that tube and goes into a sealed box for his 3D printer. So yeah, it's a really clever setup.
Awesome. Okay, so it's time to meet a maker. This week we get to meet a maker we've featured on the show before. This is Pierre, also known as the Swedish Maker.
My name is Pierre and I run the YouTube channel The Swedish Maker, and I've done so since March 2019. I've always been into making things, but it kind of accelerated when I met my wife 12 years ago, and she's also really into crafts. And what you'll see on my channel is me making things and learning at the same time. So I'm mostly working with woodworking, 3D printing and leather crafts. The tool that is the most unsung hero, I would have to say that's my 3D printer, because its limitations is only set by my imagination, and there is so much you can do with a 3D printer, and I really love when I can solve problems with the 3D printer as well. One of my all-time favorite projects, I would have to say that's a porcelain chandelier me and my wife did. So it's basically a chandelier made out of old coffee cups, and we had so much fun making it, and we learned a ton, and it's currently hanging in our hallway, which we are renovating, and I think it's looking really good. A maker I follow with passion, I'm currently following this YouTube channel, which is kind of new, called 3D DIY. And it's only got about 4 videos, I think, but it's this guy combining woodworking and 3D printing, and he's made some really beautiful things. Right now, I'm working on a ton of projects at the same time. Me and my wife are making a hammock, but I'm also working on this desk made out of birch at the same time, and I've been working on this desk for quite some time now, and it's really testing the limits of my skills, but hopefully it's going to look great.
I'm sure it will, Pierre. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Guys, if you are not following him already, go do that. I'll be sure to put the links for his channels in the description.
If you guys know a maker you think we should meet, mention them in the comments below and we'll be sure to check them out. For now, let's move on to our favorite maker videos of the week.
How resourceful are you?
Pretty resourceful, I think.
Okay, could you make a spoon out of a piece of firewood?
Maybe not that resourceful.
Well, Haley is. She recently shared a video where she takes a simple piece of wood, splits it, carves it, and turns it into an adorable spoon. She makes it seem like if I had the right tools, I could do that too. Just maybe not as good.
You're just trying to get us to buy you new tools, aren't you?
Oh, yes, I am.
This next one is from ChristoFix DIY Projects, who made this sweet dance and outfeed stand. Okay, it doesn't actually dance, but this setup is super clever. If you've ever used a table saw yourself, you know the value of a good outfeed stand, and this one is awesome. I especially like the infinite height adjustment, so you can get it exactly right for each machine. I need to make those.
And our last video comes from Frank Howarth, who built this beautiful garden gate. Frank was replacing a garden gate for the Master Gardener's Garden at the Jenkins Estate in Western Oregon. I have no idea what that means, but does that sound magical or what? So of course he had to design something just as magical. The results look straight out of Narnia. So pretty.
All right, gang, that's all we've got. If you saw a maker video this week that you think we should have mentioned, do us a favor and link to it in the comments below.
If you link it, we'll watch it.
Yep, and thanks to HART for sponsoring this episode and reminding us, of course, that we can build anything we can imagine if we do it with HART.
Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.
All right, break's over.
Let's make something.